So I'm going to start by saying that I'm not going to do the talk that I originally planned. When I'm still going to talk about women in urban revitalization, but not in the way that I had originally intended. When I got the call to do this and to talk about women in economic development, I was excited because, as was mentioned in the introduction, last year I was made the regional leader for the United States Women's Chamber of Commerce. The U.S. Women's Chamber of Commerce works in D.C. to advocate for women's economic priorities, and I was named a regional director to do that here in New Jersey. And so I'm very much immersed in the data as it relates to women. And so my original presentation was really sort of data heavy because my thesis here is that for urban revitalization, we need to maximize women. And so, what is the information? What's the data on that? Well, between 1997 and 2015, women-owned businesses increased by 75%. That's 1.5 the national average. Additionally, businesses owned by African-American women increased by 300%. That means that Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the United States. More, there are 9.9 women-owned businesses here in the United States, employing 9 million people. Again, 9.9 million women-owned businesses employing 9 million people. Bringing it to New Jersey, there are 254,000 women-owned businesses here in the state of New Jersey, employing 260,000 people with revenues of $60 billion and payroll of $10 billion. That $10 billion in those jobs represent not only the economic stability of the individual, but also their vitality of their families and also the communities in which they live. And so this is the basis upon which my presentation was going. It was a lot of facts and data because, you know, I'm sort of the school of thought that that is what was needed to buttress my presentation and my argument. And so I had a friend that I did my original talk for last night. And at about 6:15 this morning, he text messaged me, WYD, what are you doing? I said, well, you know, I'm thinking about it. I got to memorize these facts, you know, so that I can present it and so I can present this argument. And he said, well, yeah, about that. You know, I really think that you should tell people who you are, what you do, and why it's important. So, original talk out the window. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to tell you all that, and why I'm a woman-owned entrepreneur, why I'm a woman entrepreneur, and why I believe in bolstering women, and why I'm here. February 4th, 2013. My husband wasn't feeling well, and I told him to stay home. He looked sick. Came home, and he looked really sick. And I took him to the hospital. And they immediately diagnosed him with diabetes. We know he was diabetes and wasn't overweight. He didn't look sick until that day. And they said, you know what, he'll be fine. You know, we're gonna give him some insulin. We gotta give him an insulin drip, so we have to keep him in the hospital, but he should be out by the end of the week. Okay. The next day was his birthday. So we actually celebrated his birthday in the hospital. And we talked about that. And he said, you know, we'll be out on Friday. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna bring the kids here, you know, because, you know, the last time they saw you was coming into the hospital and, you know, they'll see you when you get out. February 7th, 2013. It's the eve of the 6th anniversary of my mother's death. I was raised by a single mother. We were very close, so that's always a really tough time. I got a call from the hospital, and the hospital said to come, we need to see you right away. And when I showed up, they told me that my husband had a cardiac arrest and he died. He was supposed to get out the hospital just a few hours after. And so that day, I not only was remembering my mom that I lost, but I also was facing burying my husband. And so we did. We had a funeral. There were 500 people that showed up at this funeral. We had the repast at the War Memorial in Trenton. It was so many people. And one of the things that I kept hearing over and over again was how much he had contributed to the community. He had started a foundation with some fellow Black alumni of Brown University to send kids from Newark and Trenton inner city, black kids, to science, technology, engineering, and math programs at his alma mater, Brown. And a lot of the kids had come to me and said how he had changed their lives. And so what I knew is that this was not only a really good man that I was married to for 20 years, but he had really contributed to society. And I said I wanted to do that professionally as well. And I decided I wanted to use the special knowledge that I had on economic development and community development to advance inner city and communities of color. So one day, I met a woman on the train. Her name is Taneshia Smith. And she told me about this idea that she had to create a kidney dialysis center because her brother had developed end-stage renal disease, kidney failure, in his 30s, which means he'd need to get a kidney transplant or he needed to be on dialysis for the rest of his life. And in that process, she realized that there was an opportunity to create a new type of kidney dialysis center, one that was open beyond 2 o'clock, because here in Newark, that's the last time that you can get on a machine. So if you want to work, and by the way, black men in their 30s are the fastest growing population of developing end-stage renal disease, kidney failure. If you're in your 30s and you still want to work, you can't, because if you work 9 to 5, because you have to go and you have to get dialysis or you die. And so we talked back and forth, and I realized that I could help her develop her facility, and we're working on that right now. This facility is going to create 175 new jobs here in Newark, STEM jobs by the very nature of what they do, and is going to meet a critical unmet health need here in the city of Newark. There are over 750 cases of end-stage renal disease here in the city of Newark, and over 400 of those folks have to leave Newark in order to get their treatment. One of the things that's also unique about us, we're going to be 24/7, and we're going to be providing transportation. And so I was introduced to another woman. Her name is Christine Barbieri, and she's the co-owner and CEO of Medicoop. Medicoop is also disrupting their industry, and that they are changing how non-emergency medical transportation happens. It's going to be technology-driven, and she too has a personal story as to why she created this, because she experienced taking her ill family back and forth to their appointments. Again, these appointments are important for the maintenance of their health. So back to sort of the original thesis, investing in women, and why should we do it? I gave you 2 concrete examples of women who are disrupting their industries and who are innovating. When you think about it, more women like them should be getting investment. However, the stats show that only about 20% of women-owned businesses actually get angel investing, and only 6% actually get VC funds, despite the fact that there is a study from the Small Business Administration that shows that women-led businesses actually perform better than male-led businesses. In fact, Kevin O'Leary, I think his name is, who's on the Shark Tank, did an analysis of his own investments and could not find one business in his portfolio that was male-led that outperformed the women-led businesses. So why aren't the women getting the money, right? The other thing, by the way, that's also true in majority-owned businesses and corporate businesses that are women-led, they actually also outperform men. And so my original thesis is about women and economic development. And my big idea, my idea worth sharing, is that by maximizing the potential of women in business, we can actually bolster the economy of cities like the city of Newark. There you go. Thank you very much.